site from the turn of the 20th century, which is almost 110 years old, if not more. But also it sends messages of rejecting domination and rejecting foreign aid. We're always in the Middle East obsessed with politics with a big P. For example, Sultan Abdulhamid II resisting Zionist migration into Palestine. But we forget also to understand that the same person was offered in a time of debt for the Ottoman Empire. It was under debt big time. After the Tanzimat period, he was offered a lot of money to continue the railroad structures into Bilad al-Sham, which is like Syria, Jordan, and this part of the world, Lebanon and Palestine, and all the way into the Holy Land of the Hijaz. Of course, there was nothing called Saudi Arabia at that time. It's just the name of a family. But anyways, so he completely, and I think wisely, completely rejected all the foreign aid offers from Britain, from France, and decided for this to be a local regional project. So the donations came from all over the Islamic world, all the way from Morocco in the west to the Philippines in the east. And so the actual funding for the Hijaz Railroad line, which stretched all the way from Damascus onwards, southward to Medina and Mecca, and then also there were branches into Beirut and Jerusalem and Haifa, was completely funded through local mechanisms of funding. So it's a message against foreign domination, and it's a message against imperialism. So if anything, these are the lessons I can learn from that particular site in Amman. It talks about the circulation of global capital into cities like Amman, Beirut, Tunis, Qahira. Just a couple of months ago, not a couple of months ago, in February, I was in Rabat, Morocco, out of all places. And from the airport to the hotel, we passed through huge billboards, and it was like deja vu all over again. The same ones that I have, I mean, not literally the same ones, but almost the same ones that were put up in Abdali and in Limitless and all over the city. We're seen again with the same investors, Nakhil, I'mar, and so on and so on. And it's what is the surplus capital doing in terms of investment in the city, in terms of creation of very exclusive urban environments, and also such as, for example, gated communities on the airport highway or other forms of exclusive environments. And the displacement it is actually creating in many ways. First of all, literal displacement of certain, for example, transportation hubs to the outskirts of the city, out of sight, out of mind, or creation of islands, very exclusive islands within the city itself. So instead of just East Amman and West Amman, we're going to have a lot of exclusive environments within each of the East and each of the West, which actually somehow promotes exclusive living, exclusive urban environments, and creates a larger gap, which is already there actually in the city. And the problem with this gap is that it's even extremely dangerous. Not just the middle class, but the upper middle class in the classification of old Ammanis cannot even afford to be part of that environment. So it is not just displacement in the physical sense, but it's also in the non-physical sense. So the postcard is labeled or termed displacement of neoliberalism, النزوح النيوليبرالي. And these are the cranes تبعون المشاريع. And this is the Abdali Island, and this is the Ragadan Island, which we passed by. And there's circulation all over the city, but the transportation hubs are pushed to the outskirts, لبرا, to the outskirts of the city. One which is here where we are right now, and one which is here where it's in Tabarbur, further, basically. So it's creation of exclusive islands, pushing away different functions to the outskirts. So this brings us to the last location we're going to visit, and the title of the postcard is Messages of Neoliberalism to the One-Dimensional, Non-Oppositional Society. I know that I am blaming the society to be one-dimensional, which is very bad, but at the same time, it's a cry to the society to be more aware of what's happening around them. Oppression today does not come, that's why it's non-oppositional society. Oppression today does not come always through military means or whatever. It can come through many other ways and many other means. And in that particular site we're going to right now, oppression is coming through the billboards of neoliberalism that used to be around the Abd al-Assad. They removed them now. And these are billboards that talk to a very consumerist society. That's why I call it the one-dimensional society. And I accuse it of being one-dimensional society. So apologies to my society for that accusation, but it is made in a sincere attempt to raise awareness, basically. I want my society to be more aware. I want my society to be aware of what's really going around. These messages said, لنسكن المحبة, let the shopping begin, لنبدأ متعة التسوق. And unfortunately, there are certain segments of society that actually adhere to that and listen to these messages. So that's what the next postcard is all about. And this is an urban design studio that tries to send a message to the students that architects are not only responsible of creating icons in the city, they're also responsible of addressing the problems that the city is facing.